Hey everybody, Talls here, and this is probably the most important video I will be uploading this month, and that's because we've just now gotten 4 stars, and they are very important, and I'm going to try and give as much detail as I can regarding them and how they're kind of a little frustrating for the first, half of our year, basically. So let's just kind of get right into that. What do the 4 stars bring? Obviously, I talked about this in my side video, right? But these guys are the next level of power creep. They're harder to pull, kind of like the EX SSRs. Their level goes beyond 100, so they go to 150. They bring extra stats than any of the 3 stars, even at 100. Like, these guys at 100 will still give you more stats than the current Cheeto at 100 for their main stats. These guys will pretty much always be your loner from now on. If you are free to play or really low spender, if you do not have these at the bare minimum 100, you're just setting them as your loner. You cannot afford to not have them as the loner, basically. Even Psy for kick runs right now is pretty much my loner unit that I've been using. And it'll kind of just continue to be like this from now on. The notable things are going to be, obviously for now, the 160 special lecture, or the 160 special lecture at 150. Obviously, this will unlock at, I believe, 80 still, and you can still get like a certain amount. 100% constant in their main stat, right? So you got the technical here, the constant technical. This was the training one, sorry. And then you also got that limit break. Obviously, I'm saying 160 for now. It's going to go up. It's fucking PWC. Come on, we thought fucking 120 on X-Rayo was the craziest thing ever, which it was, but now we're here. We're 40% higher now. So yeah, this is pretty much the most important. These are going to be the most high impact characters. However, there's some glaring issues with them for right now. So here's the big important thing. And this is going to be the most frustrating and gatekeeping thing to the game. These characters, I believe, I can't do the enhance there, but are there any in the shop? Yeah, of course not. Why would there be? Well, there is no, I think it's actually, you know what? It's in the trade. And this right here, this is part of why I think this is really scummy. I think from Rudell, this is like really, really awful to the players. It's part of the reason why I wasn't even going to plan to come back to the game, but here we are. So you really do have to scroll through all of this fucking nonsense, by the way, in the shop. And you can only do this on like the new campaigns currently. But you can get these Egos Yakisobas. Now, I own 2, I think, because there was some bug thing, so they gave them out. But normally you have to buy these. And they require, I think they require, there's like 15, I think you need to get maxed. And then on top of all of this, so the lucky thing is to level your characters to 100, you don't need these, okay? So you can get your characters to 100 without the pay to win currency right now, all right? However, after that, you do need to buy the currency. But the nice thing is that at level 100 is the equivalent of getting your unit to 75. So, for example, if you look at my Psy here, 90, right? But if I go to unlock to the next level, I can't do it, obviously. But you'll notice I've got 5 pieces left. So the next one will allow me to get to 100, but then I'll need 2 copies to obviously limit break past that. This is good. This is actually good because if you want to use these characters at 100, which is probably going to be like the easiest case for most players right now, you only need, I think it's 6 copies. You need 1 for the base player and then the 5 to get him to 100, which is really good in that value. Every otherwise, terrible because it will run you about $200 right now, USD, if not more, depending on however they price the packs, for the currency to get these characters to 150, all right, which is really, really awful. And then also, your tiles are completely locked and stuck too. So your normal 3-star tile breakdown is normal. Let me find a character that like I have at 50. Oh, here we go. So normally it's at 50 you get 1 tile, 65 you get another one, at 100 you would get 2. Well, no, that's not the case anymore. The current thing is that you get 1 at 50, you get 1 at 80, and then you get 1 at 100. And currently, since the meta is these combo tiles, you don't get the true value until 150 on these characters to be able to use the combo effect. This is another reason why I say just got to use them as a friend unit, unless you're training them for the most part. But yeah, this right here, I don't like it. I think it's gross. I think it's icky. I am going to stand. I'm going to even title this section in the video rant, okay? Because it's going to be a bit of a rant. This is very frustrating, and I don't think we start like being able to get like yakisoba reasonably until after Isagi comes out. And I will. That kind of leads me to the next point. How we're going to plan out our 4 stars. Okay. So obviously I'm going to show off the kind of schedule from here on out too. But first, how did we decide on our 4 stars, right? So obviously I left the gears typo in there. That's funny. I just copied this from the gear slide because it's the same thing. You want your main stat. So whatever you're the best in. Currently this account for me is physical, right? So I don't really need Sai. However, Sai does dip into kick, so that's where the kind of second bullet point is. So he's kind of important for that. But you want to like make sure you're investing in that first. Those first 2, right? And then if you have your main stat and your kick unit like kind of maxed out, or maybe at just 100 apiece because you're not trying to spend $200 for a character to unlock them on top of however much it takes to pull them. Then you can decide on your other speed, technical, or physical, right? So for me, it would be speed afterwards. My technical is terrible on this account. And then I'm going to recommend rarely ever decide on 4 stars or on intelligence 4 stars because that's a whale stat. I think I've said this multiple times. It is just a whale stat, but it is even harder to, and I'll show you kind of why in a bit, but like, investing into it as your main one is not useful because these breakthrough stats are always going to be relevant, right? It's how you kick off, how you start the match, it's how you defend against them having kickoff. It's the most important stuff, and then kicking comes next because you need to score, right? So intelligence is always on the bottom, and it gets worse with the 4 stars. Like, you will save a lot of money if you don't really focus on intelligence. All right, so spoilers, but here's kind of going to be the upcoming schedule. So currently in the current month, we have technical. That's why I led with this. So we have Sai. He's out. Our next technical unit, main stat-wise, not even substat, main stat is Bachira in May. So if you are technical Andy, you can get Sai. You can kind of coast on getting Sai. And then in May, kind of go all in for Bachira, and that's kind of your goal. I think there's going to be a boatload of 3 stars coming out too, but like the 4 stars are what you want to plan for. So these are the next 2 upcoming ones. Moving on to speed, we've got boom right out of the bat. Next month and the month afterwards, it is going to be Rin and Chigiri. The thing to note is that Rin, you can argue Rin is going to be the better of the two here because Chigiri is full speed. Chigiri does not dip into any other stat except for speed. All 4 tiles are shuttle run tiles, okay? Rin double dips. So Rin might be the better choice for most accounts because you can get value out of him at 2 separate times. And then we've got physical. So Rin double dips with physical starting next month. So he's probably going to be the one I'm working towards and trying to get up and things like that, or just using as a loner, and then maybe fill in the blank with some other 3-star I'm missing. But June. We've got another limited character in June. It's going to be Groom Chigiri. And yeah, it is pretty bleak. Chigiri also, as you'll see later, dips into intelligence, and this is why I really strongly recommend against intelligence unless you're really looking to spend the money, because even though June is 2 months after we get Isagi, it's still a bit debatable on how much yakisoba we will have. I don't really have the numbers breakdown and things like that, but I would say it's probably not going to be crazy, especially if you have any 4 stars max on free yakisoba. But yeah, so Rin I do think is a big recommendation for a lot of accounts because he'll double dip into 2 stats. And then kick power, obviously the current month has Sai. Then in April we get Isagi, which is also when we should start getting yakisoba normally. But he is kick power and intelligence. I mean, I've told you he's kick power for like 3 fucking videos now. But he's also intelligence, and he's main stat intelligence. He's sub stat kick. And then in June is when we get our first real kick power 4-star, and it's a pure kick 4-star. So Nagi is only going to be kick, which means he will be the best, like the best in slot for kick come June. And also that means, if you didn't notice, that means we got 2 4-stars in June, which is going to tell you that we are losing 3-stars around this time. Really good stuff coming in. And then lastly, we have intelligence in April as the main stat, May as the substat, and then June as a main stat. June, Chigiri is main stat, intelligence, sub, physical. But he's still really important to the physical comp because that's just how the substats are working these days. And that's kind of the main gist. I would say your kind of goals are to pick between Sai, Rin, Bachira, Chigiri, and then Nagi. Those were, I would probably say, are like the top 5 to like focus for. Which unfortunately is like every single month. But the thing to note is that if you choose between Rin and Chigiri, my recommendation is always going to be Rin. Because he does dip into 2 stats. And then you can use the other one as a loner friend for the most part. However, if you didn't save gems for Rin, you can do it vice versa, and then just have Chigiri be that kind of who you save up for, and then just dump everything into in March. That's not a bad idea either. And then between Sai and Bachira, I would recommend maybe Sai because kick is going to be a bit more important and he slots into that comp really well, especially now. However, if your favorite's Bachira like mine, then yeah, go for him, obviously. He's the GOAT. He's sick as hell. And the art's fire. what more can you want? No, but on an actual serious note, yeah, you've got a lot of time before Bachira, so you can kind of just maybe gradually get Sai, like I mentioned earlier. And then, obviously, physical. If you are a physical player, you got to go for Rin next month, or just over time. You just have to get your copies of him. He's pretty core to the comp for a while. And then, obviously, Nagi is a high recommendation as the only full kick power character. He's going to probably last quite a long time as well. And that is pretty much it for the video. Nice and short for most of y'all. And yes, I am wearing my fucking Arsenal fucking jersey because they won today when I'm recording this. Let's go. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, do all that. I love seeing the support of people being happy that I'm back, and some people actually getting useful information out of the videos. That always helps when I'm doing this. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.